Dear students, today we are going to start with a new topic of database management system. This is the lecture of information technology for standard 11. We have already studied about a few points of database management system. This is my 13th lecture where we are going to discuss about data model. Okay, what is the model? What the model is all about? What is the structure of the data? Okay, so today we are going to discuss about this. Now, what is a data model? A data model is defined how the logical structure of a database is modeled. Okay, how the data are connected to each other, how the tables are connected to each other. Okay, so we are going to see that in today's lecture. Now, data model is defined how the logical structure of database is modeled. The data model defines how data is concerned to each other or connected to each other and how they are processed and stored inside the system in a table. Okay, so this data model or data structure is all about the connection of data and the collection of tables stored inside the system. Okay, now there are so many models available for database management system. Some of the most common ones are hierarchical data model, relational model, network model, object oriented data model, entity relationship model, document model, entity attribute value model, star schema, the object relational model. These are the list of the data models for database management system. The very basic model is relational model. So today in our lecture we are going to see relational model in detail. Okay, let's take a closer look of one of the most common data model, that is relational model. This is the most common model. The relational model sorts the data into table. It sorts the data into tables and also known as relations. The data sorted in a table are known as relations, each of which consists of columns and rows. Correct? Each table is consists of columns and rows, and this table is called as relation. Okay, now each column lists an attribute of the entity such as price, zip code, birth date, name, ID. These are the list of attributes, right? Now together the attribute in a relationship are called as a domain or a record. Okay, now see this. This is one example where table is also called as relation. Okay, these are called as columns. These columns are also called as attribute. Okay, and these are called as tuple or row. Okay, the records are called as tuple or row. Got it? So this is what a model, data model of a table. Okay, where the table is called as relation, the columns are called as attribute or field, the rows are called as tuple or record, the field which are unique are called as primary keys. Okay, and domains are the attribute of this field, that is called as domain. The attribute of a field is called as domain. The property of a field is called as domain. As for example, if I have set the customer name as not null, that means user should not leave this field as blank. Correct? So this is called as domain. The attribute of the field is called as a domain. Got it? We will move ahead. Relational model. A particular attribute or combination of attributes is chosen as a primary key that can be referred to in other table, that is called as a foreign key, right? The unique keys are called as primary key, and if we are using these primary keys in another table, then it is called as a foreign key there. Okay, each row are also called as a tuple, includes data about a specific instance of the entity in question, such as a particular employee. For example, this is one schema where student id and subject id, these are the primary keys, these are the unique keys in these two tables. Okay, in these two separate tables, the unique keys or primary keys are student id and subject id, but we are using this student id and subject id in another table, which may uh, where we can create the duplicate of this, right? We can repeat the roll number, we can repeat the subject id here. So these primary keys are in another table are called as a foreign key. If we are using the primary key in another table, then it is called as a foreign key. Correct? So there are two foreign keys, student id and subject id, which are separately assigned to two different tables. So here these are primary keys, and if we are using these primary keys in another table, then it is referred as a foreign key in another table. Got it? And this is one row or record or tuple, correct? This is one row. So the primary keys, these are the main key or main identity for this record. So if I want to call this record, then I can call the student id 1's record, right? This is the second employee's record, this is the third student id's record, correct? This is the fourth student id's record, this is the first subject id record, this is the second subject id record, like this. So these are referred as the primary keys. Okay, these rows are referred as the primary keys rows. Got it? Now next, relational model represents data in the form of relations or in the form of tables, correct? So the schema, when we create the schema, when we create the structure, then the relations are in the form of tables, right? Where we can find different rows and different records, different rows and different fields, right? So when we create the table, at that time we decide the schema, or at that time we decide the structure of the table, correct? So schema represents the structure of the relation. Here relation means the table. Okay, so schema represents the structure of the table. For example, relational schema of a student relation can be represented as, we have already created this, right? So student table, this is the table name student, right? Then student number, this is the roll number, student name, and student phone number. This is the structure of the student table, right? So this is the structure now. Student is the table name, student number, student name, and student phone. These are three fields, right? Student phone, student name, and student number. These are three fields, correct? Understood this? So we have decided the schema of student at the time of creation of the table only. So when we are creating a table, we are writing the field names, right? So we have decided the schema. This is the schema, or this is the structure of student table. I hope you have understood the schema, right? And the relational model, correct? So relational model is what? It represents the data in the form of relations or tables. The relational schema means the structure of the table or structure of the relation. We can decide the structure of the table at the time of creation of the table only. So relational schema of student relation can be represented as student, student number, student name, student phone, right? And this is the model. Got it? Where these fields are called as this fields are are fields are called as attribute. These fields are called as attribute, and these tuples, these rows are called as tuples. So attributes and tuples, okay, and columns and rows, correct? So rows are called as tuple, columns are called as attribute. Rows are called as tuple and columns are called as attribute. So we have decided this at the time of creation of the table only, correct? I hope you have understood this. Now next topic is transaction. What is transaction in a schema? Okay, a transaction is a single logical unit of work which accessed and possibly modify the contents of the database. If you're creating updating and deleting the record from a database, okay, if you're creating a table, if you're deleting the record of the table, if you're deleting the table, if you're updating the record of the table, if you're updating the table, then in the database, then you are performing the transaction on the table. Whatever you do with the table, okay, whatever you do in the table with the records, that that performance is called as a transaction of that table. Okay, so it is very important to control these transactions to maintain the data integrity. Integrity means safety of the data, right? So this is very important to maintain the safety of the data, or to maintain the data integrity, and to handle the database error. Okay, in order to maintain consistency in the database before and after the transaction, then certain properties are followed. These properties are called as ACID properties. I hope you have understood the concept of transaction. What is transaction? Transaction is any logical unit of work. Whatever you do with the table, whether you are updating it, whether you are deleting it, whether you are creating it, okay, whether you are inserting the record, whether you are updating the record of a table, whether you are deleting a record of a table, then these all performance are called as transaction. Whatever you do with the table, then you are performing a transaction on the table. Okay, so it is very important to control these transactions to maintain the data integrity. It is very important when you are doing the transaction, it is very important to make your data safe, okay, and to handle the database error. Okay, so this is done with the help of ACID property in order to maintain consistency in the database before and after the transaction. This certain properties are followed. These properties are called as ACID properties. Okay, now what is ACID properties? We will see in detail. Now first one, ACID means, what this ACID means? ACID means atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability. Okay, ACID means atomicity, where atomicity means the entire transaction takes place at once or does not happen at all. Okay, consistency means the data must be consistent before and after the transaction. Okay, isolation means multiple transactions occur depending on the interface. Okay, and fourth one is durability. That means the changes of a successful transaction occurs even if the system failure occurs. So this is called as ACID. We will see it in detail. First we will see the atomicity. Okay, what do you mean by atomicity? By this we mean that entire transaction takes place at once, okay, or does not happen at all. There is no midway. That is, all the transactions, all the operations are completed successfully, or the transaction is aborted. Aborted means cancelled. Okay, so either the transactions are completed successfully, or all the transactions are aborted or cancelled at a point of failure. If any failure happened, then all the transactions which are made till that time are aborted or cancelled. So atomicity means the database must be consistent. Atomicity means the entire transaction takes place at once or does not happen at all. Okay, it the transactions are completed successfully or the transactions are aborted if any failure happen, and all the previous transactions are rolled back. Rolled back means restored if any transaction is done. Okay, and in mid time if any failure happen, then the transactions are cancelled at that time only, and the transaction which are made on that data must be restored to their former state, to their previous state. Okay, so it involves the following two operations. First one is abort and second one is commit. Abort happen when the transaction uh, when it aborts the transaction. If a transaction aborts or cancel, changes made to the database are not visible. If we have done any changes and if it aborts the transaction, then the changes which are done on that data are not visible. That means they are cancelled. And commit means if a transaction commits or completed successfully, then the changes made are visible. If any changes are happen in that transaction, if any changes are happen on the table, then if the transaction is committed successfully, then those changes are visible to us. That means the changes happen on that table. Okay, so atomicity is also known as all or nothing rule. Okay, this is also known as all or nothing rule. Got it? So what is atomicity? Atomicity means the entire transaction take place at once or does not happen at all. Okay, so if all the transactions are completed successfully, or the transaction is aborted or cancelled at a point of failure, and if any transactions are happen on that data, then all the transactions, if it is failure, then all the transactions are rolled back, means restored to their former state or previous state. And there are two concepts. First one is abort and second one is commit. Abort means cancelled. Okay, if the transactions are cancelled, then the changes made to the database are not visible to the user. If the transactions are completed successfully, it is committed successfully, then the changes made are visible to the user on the table. Got it? And it is also known as all or nothing rule. Now second one is, what is the second one? Consistency. Consistency ensures that the database properly changes the state upon a successful committed transaction. Means if the transaction is successfully done on the table, then the changes on that table are properly displayed. Okay, the changes are properly shown on that table. Okay, so this means that the integrity constraint must be maintained so that the database is consistent before and after the transaction. If it restore the it refers to the correctness of the database. Consistency means the correctness of the database. Okay, if the transaction is happened successfully, then it should display on the database. That means successfully committed transactions are to be displayed or to be changed on the database. But if it is aborted, then the previous state should be displayed on the table. Got it? Next one is isolation. What is isolation means? Means the transactions to the operation independently on of and transparent to each other. If there are two concurrent transactions are going on, then these two transactions are transparent to each other and they are independent of each other. Got it? So if there are two transactions going on the same table, then these two transactions are transparent to each other and they are independent of each other. Okay, that means no clash happen between these two transactions. Transaction should be executed in such a way that its result should not affect the other transaction. Correct? Similarly, the current transaction should not be affected by the other transaction. Correct? In this way, we can achieve isolation of the transaction and hence consistency of the database. Got it? Next one is durability. What is durability means? It ensures that the result or effect of a committed transaction persists in case of system failure. That means if you are doing some transaction on the database or on the table, if you're doing some transaction on the table and in between the system failure happen, then if it is not committed, if the transaction is not committed, then it will roll back. That means it is that means it is not written on the memory, right? But if it is committed, if the transaction is committed and after that committed transaction the system failure happen, then what will happen? It should display, the changes should display on the table, that committed transaction should display on the table, right? So that means this property ensures that once the transaction has completed successfully, okay, if the transaction is completed execution, then the updates and modification to the database are stored in and written to the disk. Okay, if the transaction is committed successfully, then the changes which are made on the table have to be written on the disk and they persist even if the system failure occurs, and they remain there even if the system failure occurs. So the changes made on the table are remain in the disk so that the updates on that table become permanent, right? So the changes on that table become permanent and are stored in non-volatile memory. Non-volatile means permanent memory. Okay, and if the committed transaction happen and if any failure happen, then these transactions are written on the disk and these are permanent there. So it should be stored in a non-volatile memory so that the effect on the transaction are never lost. Got it? So these are 4 property, that is ACID property. Okay, the atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability, where atomicity means the entire transactions take place at once or does not happen at all. Means if there is any transactions going on in a database or in a table, like updating, inserting data in a table, deleting data from the table, if these transactions are going on a table, then it should be done completely or successfully. It should be complete, it should be committed successfully or it should be abort, means cancelled at all. Okay, now next one is consistency. Consistency means the database must be consistent before and after the transaction. If the transaction is happened on the table successfully, then it should be displayed on the table, and if it is aborted, then it should be displayed on the table, that the previous state should be displayed on the table. Okay, before the transaction what was the state, that state should be displayed on the table. So it should be consistent to the user. Okay, if the transaction is happened, then it should display on the table. If the transaction is not happened, the previous state should be displayed on the table. Got it? Then the isolation. What is the isolation means? If there are two or many transactions are going on simultaneously, then these 2 transactions are transparent to each other. They should transparent to each other and they should not clash. Okay, so multiple transactions occur independently without interference. Okay, then durability. What is durability means? The changes of a successful transaction occurs even if the system failure occurs. Okay, so if you are doing any transaction on the table and it is completed successfully, right, so it should be written on the disk which is permanent. Okay, so it should be written in permanent memory so that it should be permanent, and whenever system failure happen after the committed transaction, so the changes made on the transaction, the changes made on the table should display, right? And this is all about ACID, property of database management system. I hope you have understood it. If you have any doubt, note it down. We will discuss it in college. Okay. so much.